Hi guys, it's Jordan from B&P Campers. I'm just going to be doing a handover video on this AutoTrail Tracker. It's an SE model and it's on a 55 plate Fiat Ducato chassis. So over on the left hand side under the bonnet we've got the engine battery, nice Varta battery, a couple of fuses and some connections at the back there which are all to do with the charging from the engine to leisure. We've got the brake fluid up the top just here, power steering fluid and your engine oil from there. The engine oil dipstick is just down here at the front of the engine. It has literally just had a cam belt done as part of the service just there, as you can see on the sticker. Engine coolant is in this reservoir in the top right hand side here, air filter and washer fluid down here. So just on the near side front here we've got the diesel filling point. To open that little flap up you push on the left hand side here and it will open up nice and easy like that. You will need the ignition key to get that to open, but that's that. Inside the passenger door, there's a couple of fuses and reloads behind this little cover here, just two Phillips screws, glove box, and both of your front swivel seats here, nice and easy to use from these handles. The battery locker is just down here in this first locker we come to on the near side. So you've got the battery in there, solar controller there as well, which is working really well, and a few bits and pieces that the previous owner has left behind. So the electronic step comes out from this little switch just here, so I can show you that working. Nice and easy. 12-volt socket next to that, and an external light, or the light above us just there is what that switch there does. Got your fresh water filling point from here, so you fill up your fresh tank from that one. External gas point, so you turn this little valve here, as long as you've got your gas on in the locker, turn the valve here and you'll have gas coming out from there. So we've got your fresh water drain off point just there. So basically just drop that down and twist the valve and that'll drain out your fresh water tank. 2-bike Fiamma bike rack. Reversing camera sits inside that little screen there, and you've got your centre brake light up at the top. You will have a spare wheel inside this little external cupboard here, so you can open that up and get the spare wheel out from there. So the wastewater is from this big grey drain off point on the offside rear, and basically that will just give you access to draining out any water that's gone down any of the sinks or the shower or anything like that. The toilet waste, or the toilet cassette, is inside this next locker here. So this is a Thetford toilet cassette, industry standard. So to take this out, we lift up on the little yellow tab here and we can pull the cassette towards us. You'll then be able to take the cassette completely out, take it to wherever you need to go and drain it. So to drain it out, we turn this little handle round here and take off this cap. When you're draining it out, it's always handy to hold down this little yellow button here. About a cap's worth of blue fluid goes back inside here, give it a little swish about and then push it all the way back in like so. You've got a freshwater flush on here, so you haven't got any separate flush fluids to worry about, and so as long as you've got a little bit of water in your fresh tank you'll be able to flush the toilet. The next locker here is your gas locker. So we've got space in here for 2 of these 6 kilo propane bottles. At the moment there's just one because we just give one away with every sale. So we've got the valve at the top just here, so anti-clockwise round to the left turns the bottle all the way on, and clockwise all the way down turns it off. I'm going to leave it on for a minute because I've got a few things working inside for me to show you. Gas spanner, again that's the previous owner has just made that up, but that's the correct size for this nut just here, which is the one that you need to take off and put onto your new bottle whenever you get a new one. When you turn this bottle on, because of this particular pigtail hose you've got on here, if you find that you can't get any gas coming through anywhere on the inside of the vehicle, even though you've turned it on, push this button in for a few seconds and then let go. So that's just basically a purge button to allow you to purge the gas through to the inside. We've then got this little vent just here that says Truma on it. This is your boiler vent. So if you had the boiler lit up on gas, you'd be able to feel hot air coming out either side of this vent. And you need to make sure that you take this cover off before you start trying to use it. Next door to that, we've got your external hot and cold water point. So you will have a point in the vehicle somewhere to plug into that. But this is basically just a hot and cold external water point. And the last thing on the outside is your mains hookup. So if you have got access to a mains cable, always really handy to have it plugged in, because it means that your leisure battery is going to be charged up. And it also means that you'll have access to using any of your 240 volt appliances and mains sockets. So in the cab, push that back up. So in the cab, we've got the electronic adjusting mirrors from this little dial down here, and electric windows. You've got cab blinds. See, this bit here will pull up like so, basically, and it, this will pull all the way out and make up into the cab blinds from there. You've got your CD, DVD, MP3, all that sort of stuff. Singled in player just there. Front and rear fog lights and your hazard warning lights from the middle there. All of your heater controls underneath. Little 12 volt socket and another one just down there towards the right. Your bonnet release handle is the one down here just above the clutch pedal, and your steering column adjustments is the one just to the right of that there. So I think that's about it for the cab. Not much else to show from there. So what I'll do now is I'll just basically come through here and show you from the entry door, the habitation door. I'll show you from here and then go through all the appliances after that. So the control panel is above your head as soon as you walk in, and these control panels are very, very straightforward. Once you turn the power switch on just here, you'll then be able to basically scroll through the center screen here. So if I press the up button, it's going to take us through various different options and settings that you can do. Alarms, clock, water tank fill, you don't have to worry about that one. So pump select, internal, you want to leave it on internal. You haven't got an external pump on this, so that's fine. Wastewater, that isn't true. So the reason that we don't do anything with these straight away is because 9 times out of 10, when they say that they're full when they're not, it's purely for the reason that it hasn't been used for a little while. So normally when you start using the, getting some water in that waste tank, filling it up and draining it out, filling out, draining out, normally that'll clean off those prongs that are showing full and it'll start working again. If you can't get that to come off 100% full, the only other thing you can do about it is to pour like 10 litres of really, really cheap full fat Coke down the sink. And what that'll do is it will get itself into the waste tank and it will start to sort of get rid of any corrosion that might be on the prongs that are inside that waste tank. Leave it in there for a little while, even go for a little drive and really slosh it about inside that waste tank, and then drain the wastewater out from the grey handle on the other side there to hopefully have stopped any of that corrosion on those prongs. But that's about all you can do from that one, really. We haven't done that ourselves, as you can see, but I just thought I'd point that out to you. They're only really a guide, so the big thing that I'd sort of try and push is the fact that your fresh tank and your waste tank, generally speaking, will be the same size or very similar sizes. So if you drain out your wastewater before you leave and fill up your fresh tank when you get to where you're going or whatever, by the time you start running out of your fresh water, your waste tank's going to need emptying. So, that's the way that I would do it anyway, but there you go. So the next one is your fresh water level. Now that is true, that's reading correctly, so we can see how much fresh water we've got in the tank. Then got vehicle battery voltage, leisure battery voltage, both very high because I've got the solar panel up on the roof and it's working really, really well. And that's back to the home screen. So we've got the external temperature, the time, and the model and version that we're working on. So on the left hand side, we've got a couple of switches. This switch just here on the top right is the one that you're going to be using the least. Now this is basically a battery selector button, and the idea behind the battery selector is that you can select the engine battery instead of the leisure to power, you know, your lights and things like that in the back end of the vehicle. So at the moment, when that light isn't on, when this switch isn't on, the leisure battery is charging is powering everything in the back end. Okay, but it also means when you haven't got that switch turned on, it also means that when you plug the hookup cable in, the leisure battery is the one that's being charged up. However, if you turn this button on just here, it then switches that power and then starts charging the engine battery instead of the leisure. So that would be the only real time that you would want to use that switch. If your engine battery is really flat and you've got access to a hookup cable, if you plug the van in on hookup and press this button on here, it will start charging the engine battery instead of the leisure. So that's about the only time that you would ever really need to use that switch. Bottom left, we've got the water pump. So when I turn the pump on, I should then be able to draw the water through here to the sink. So this is our cold side over to the right. Round to the left is going to be our hot. And as long as we get a decent bit of pressure coming through the tap just here, as we are, and we turn the tap off and the pump turns itself off, which is just done, that proves to me that the boiler is definitely full of water and that we've got good pressure in the system. So just by doing that, literally just by drawing the water through hot and cold and just making sure that you've got good pressure at the tap, will then just sort of show you that you're up to pressure and that your boiler is definitely full. Aux, so basically that's going to be any 12-volt sockets that you might, you know, not have power at otherwise. Sometimes aftermarket fitments will run off the aux switch there, but basically when you come into the vehicle, if you want to turn things on and have power at everything, just go power switch and auxiliary switch. That should then give you power to everything. So you've got these two switches just here in the middle, which are going to do the over cabinet lights. And then we've got two other switches here either side, which I'll run you through in a minute. So as I say, we've got the sink here, cold to the right, hot to the left. You've got a full range cooker in this particular model, so you've got the option of the electric ring here on the top left hand side, as well as the 3 burners on top. So if you want to use one of the burners, we just use the valve just here with the ignition switch. We'll make sure the gas is coming through properly. I've just literally just turned the gas on a minute ago before the video, so, but anyway, it's not quite got through to the cooker yet clearly, but that's the idea behind it. So you want to use these little valves just down here whilst pressing on the ignition switch, and that will light up any of the burners on top. The ignition switch also does the ignition for the grill just underneath and the oven below that as well. So you've got grill just here, oven on the right. Underneath here we've got your gas isolators. So if you want to isolate the gas from any appliances, you see the one there that says barbecue, that's your external barbecue point. So that is in the isolated position at the moment. So if you wanted to isolate the gas from any other appliances, you can do so just like that. You've got your water pump in the back just here, it's a shore flow water pump. But other than that, that's about it for under there. Loads of storage on this outside locker. That's about it. So, we've got a light underneath here as well. And then just a little bit more storage up and over the cooker. So, next thing I'm going to run you through is going to be the fridge. So the fridge itself is a Dometic 3-way fridge. So when I say 3-way, I mean that it works 3 different ways. You've got 3 different energies. You've got gas, you've got mains electric, and you've got 12 volt. So the gas is as simple as turn the gas bottle on in the locker, turn the power on up at the control panel, and turn this dial once to the right. And that really is it. So it will light up automatically for you. If it doesn't light up, you'll get a little orange flashing light here. If it does light up and it stays lit, it'll stay amber just like that. It'll just stay constant. If you had the electric hookup plugged in, you would be next one down here on 230 volt, and that'll basically just start cooling the fridge down via the electric, just like a household fridge. And the last one here is 12 volt, and that is for when your engine is running and you're driving. So basically the idea is you pre-cool the fridge before you leave, either on gas or mains electric, and then switch over to 12 volt whilst you drive, switch back to one of the other two when you park up. And there you go. So the fridge will take about 2 or 3 hours or so to get cold on any one of those. But yeah, the 12 volt is really for holding a temperature whilst you're driving, not really for getting it cold by itself. So the next thing I'm going to show you is going to be the way to use the boiler. That's open and locked. So the boiler itself sits, I think, underneath here. Yeah, so in the wardrobe here, you can't actually see it, but down here there's a little cover that gives you access to the boiler, which is just down behind the heater there. So you've got the option of gas or electric on the boiler. So I'm going to show you how to use it on gas first. So this is going to be how to heat your water up via gas. So up here by the control panel, the first switch we get to just here, it says Ultra Store on it. This is how we use the boiler on gas. So all you have to do that is make sure that your cover is off on the outside, and make sure that you've got water coming through nice and clearly on the hot side. And then all you need to do is turn the gauge once round to the right. The boiler will light straight up, and as long as you don't get a little red light come next to the green one, which hopefully we won't, then the boiler is lit. As I said, you can go outside and put your hand over that vent there and just make sure that it is hot. But other than that, that's all you need to do. You've then got your internal your temperature of the water, 30 through to 70. You can adjust that however you want to. That's how you use it on the gas. If you want to use it on mains and you've got the hookup plugged in, you've also got this other switch just down here that says Ultra Store on it, and you literally just turn that button on, and that will then start heating the water up via the mains element. So it's really as easy as that when it comes to the hot water. The other dial just here is the heater. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the heater first on gas, and then I'll show you how to use it on the mains afterwards. So, not that I want to use the heating today because it's absolutely boiling, but if you wanted to use the heating, really simple. You've got the option of gas or electric on the heater as well. So if you want to light the heater up on the gas, all you need to do is turn this little valve round here to about 2 or 3. You might not be able to hear it on the video, but that has just started the ignition. So you've got an electronic ignition. All you need to do from there is push down on the little thing here, so pushing down on it. And if we watch down the little peephole here, there you go. The flame has now lit up and the igniter has stopped. So that's your pilot flame lit straight up whilst I'm holding it in still. So all I'm going to do now is lift up on this, or allow it to come back up, and then I'm going to twist it around to about sort of 7 or 8. And if you watch what happens when I do that, you're going to do it right now. Sorry about the camera there, it's difficult to show it, but the main flame basically just kicked straight in when I turned it around to 7 or 8. So just making sure that that stays on now, doesn't go out, and that's it. So that's how you use it on the gas. That's how you actually get the heating going on the gas. I'm going to turn that back round to 0 now because it is like 25 degrees today. Over on the left hand side here is how you use the fan. So you've got these little circular vents around the vehicle, and that's because you've got blown air heating. So whether you're using it on the gas or on the electric, like I'm going to show you in a minute, you can use this fan. So push this once to the left, and then you've got 1 to 5 fan speeds. So that pumps the cool air nicely, really nice and quickly around there. But if you wanted to use it as a heater, you can obviously put the heating on and it'll blow hot air through those within 5 or 10 minutes. Pull this back when you're finished. So because you've got the option of using the heater on the mains as well, you've got a little switch just inside the wardrobe here that says Ultra Heat. So basically, if you are hooked up on the mains and you want to use the heating on the mains, you turn this switch on just here. If you are hooked up, that will light up red. This little light just up here on the top left, that will now be illuminating red. And that will then basically just give you access to using this switch up here that says Ultra Heat. So if you don't have that switch on just there, this dial will not do anything at all. But basically you do have to, you know, some people get confused and think that you just turn a switch on here and it will start heating, but it won't. All right, so you need to turn that switch on, then come over here to this little dial here that says Ultra Heat, and then select 500, 1000 or 2000, which is the amount of watts that are being drawn from the heater at any one time. So when I turn it on now, it will just basically flash green and turn itself off. But if I was hooked up on the mains and that switch was on in the wardrobe at the same time, it would then light up green and stay green. So 500, 1000 or 2000, the sort of best way to explain it is that they all equate to a certain amount of amps. So if you're at a campsite and you're plugged into like a 10 amp pole or a 13 amp pole, that's basically them telling you the amount of amps that you've got to play with on your hookup cable. So in this particular case, in this vehicle, you've got lots of different things that work on gas or electric. So let's say the heater was on full blast on 2000 watts on the electric, that's going to be drawing about 8 amps on its own. Then, you know, let's just say you're on a 10 amp pole, you've already used up 8 of your 10 amps. So by the time the charger's on and, you know, maybe the fridge is on mains, you're going to be blowing the trip because you've overpowered. So it's really important just to make sure. I mean, something that I would recommend is not to use it on 2000 at all, because 8 amps is just a bit ridiculous really for a motorhome. Best off using it on 500 or 1000 if you are going to use it on the mains. If you're not going to use it on the mains, great, just use it on the gas, and then you haven't got to worry about that at all. So over here in this cupboard, the reason I've got this cupboard open is because this is essentially your electronic area. So you've got the main power supply unit. This is an EC200 by Sargent. The EC200 is basically like an industry standard for all of these AutoTrails really. So really reliable units. We don't tend to get many issues with them whatsoever. The charger itself, so your mains powered charger, is also inside this box, which is why you've got a little switch at the top here that says charger on it. So you've got 12 volt fuses down here with a diagram telling you what they all do and what size and color they should be. Your mains trip switches over here on the right, also with a little scale here telling you what they all do. And so if you do get any problems, you know, obviously you can get in touch with us with any issues, but if you're away and you have something that you just, you know, you need to have fixed there and then, let's just say, for example, you have all your lights on and all of a sudden they all go out. You know, it's unlikely to happen, but if it does, you can come through to here and just have a little look at your chart and just look through here. So you've got front lights, rear lights, sockets, fans. So in that case, you'd be popping this little cover off here, this little plastic one, and then you'd be looking at these two first fuses. You know, you'd be checking these two fuses here. So, you know, it really is as easy as that. That's all that we would do. If there was a problem with a specific thing, we would come here to, oh, that's the wrong way around. We would come here and just have a little look through the scale here and just see what, you know, where we should be looking. So the option, you know, having that ability there and having being able to just have a little look through like that is really handy. So other than that, if you plugged into a hookup that was reverse polarity, so that the neutral and the earth were the wrong way around, neutral and live were the wrong way around, so that would probably happen when you're abroad. That light there will come on. You should still have power coming in, but it's just telling you that the polarity is wrong. And when you hook up on the mains, the battery charger light will come on up there as well. All of this stuff just here is all to do with, I mean, this is your TV aerial booster up here, but all of this stuff here is all to do with this entertainment system. So this was just something that AutoTrail did for pretty much all of their vehicles just there. So I think one of these two switches here should power that up. So now turn that switch on and the screen is now on. That will probably also double up as your reversing camera as well, by the way, just in case you didn't know that. But yeah, so this one of those things that it would have been an optional extra when the vehicle was purchased new. Let me just see if one of those does do that. Just bring that up again. Yeah, so the left switch just in here, this one here on the left is the one that actually turns this screen on. And there you go. So the last thing I need to run you through is going to be the bathroom, I think. So that's going to be the last bit. So in the bathroom itself, I'll just open that door up. We've got the shower unit, which has got a light inside as well. There's probably a switch for the bathroom, I would have thought. There we go. So the main bathroom light switch is up under here, under this first cupboard. Storage, a bit more storage underneath the sink just here, and then obviously you've got your shower unit. So the shower is literally a hot and cold mix attached just there. The shower tray looks like it's in good condition. I can't see any splits or tears in that, which is really good. Shower screen obviously comes across, you just undo it from this little clip over here on the left hand side, and then the screen will come all the way across. The toilet is the only thing that I tend to run through, because it's the only thing that you probably won't be able to use without knowing how to. You just press the little blue button just up here, and it will start to pump around your flush fluid around the bowl. So that's how you put the flush fluid into the cassette itself. When you want to drain whatever's in the bowl here into the cassette, pull this little grey handle towards you, and that'll drain everything into the cassette. Push it back, and that's it. That's how you use it. So I'll turn those lights off. So the layout in this particular vehicle is just so popular nowadays. The fact that you can just pull these bed slats together and make this massive double bed here really quickly by using the back cushions there as the infill cushions is so popular. There will be a table in the vehicle as well, somewhere to put down here in the middle. I think it's in the wardrobe there actually. But yeah, so I think I've covered everything. I don't think I've missed anything out, but if I have, just let us know. But otherwise, look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.